Hello, I'm Stephen Lewitz. Thank you for watching my channel. I have stage 4 cancer, and today it's 3 months since my diagnosis. For me, this is an important day because whenever you see or read or hear of a prognosis, it usually says something like this: the average expected lifespan for a person with whatever cancer it is 3 to 6 months, or 3 to 9 months, or 3 to 12 months. So today is 3 months, and I'm doing just fine. Before I give you an update, a personal request. Please hit the subscribe and like buttons, and please share this with someone else who might find it useful. We're trying to get the subscriptions up to 500 and beyond. And also, please watch to the end. The message is important. I'm going to be talking today about caregivers. And my videos are generally only about 10 minutes long, so please do watch. So, I've just completed round 4 of chemo, and it has gone better than round 3. The nausea has lifted, my appetite is good, but fatigue remains a challenge. Also, the neuropathy in the hands has intensified. Now, many people look at me and say, "You're looking good." Thank you. Sadly, I realize this is not the same as "you're good looking," but I'll take the "you're looking good," and I appreciate the observation. Thank you for your continued prayers. And thank you to my awesome wife, Hanneli, for her continued help and support. I feel pretty good at this stage. Which brings me to the subject I want to discuss today. I want to talk about something that often gets overlooked when someone is battling a serious illness, especially a terminal disease. And that is the caregivers, those who surround the sick person and help them every single day. So the topic is, don't forget the caregivers. I want you to remind you, to encourage them and pray for them. When a person is diagnosed, the world understandably focuses on them, their treatment, their pain, their emotions, and their needs, especially as the disease progresses and they become less independent. And that's right. We should care deeply for those who are sick. But there's another group of people who are carrying a heavy burden that often goes unnoticed and unappreciated: the caregivers. And here I'm referring especially to the spouses. Husbands and wives who are silently, faithfully, and often exhaustingly holding everything together. Today I want to encourage you to pray for them, to notice them, and to find ways to help lift them up. The weight that the caregivers carry is huge. If you've ever walked closely with someone facing a terminal illness, you know how hard it is for the caregiver, especially spouses. The weight is relentless. They're managing medications, doctor's appointments, and medical decisions. They're often sacrificing sleep, work, and even their own health to provide constant care. They're watching the person they love suffer, and they carry the emotional weight of wanting to help but feeling helpless. And on top of all of that, they're grieving the life they once had, the future they had dreamed of, and the little losses happening each day. It's exhausting physically. It's draining emotionally. And yet caregivers are often forgotten and feel forgotten. So why must we see and support them? I can tell you from personal experience. When people pray for me in this season, it means so much to me. Thank you for that. But what blesses me just as much is when someone asks, "How is Hanneli doing?" Because the truth is, she's carrying this journey in ways I can't. She's navigating her own emotions while trying to be strong for me. And many caregivers are doing the same, pouring out everything they have while feeling alone, unseen, and worn thin. That's why we need to remember them, to pray for them, to encourage them, and to come alongside them in practical ways. So how can you encourage a caregiver? Well, we can show up for caregivers. And here are a few ways that might help. Number one, pray for them by name. If you know someone who's caring for a sick spouse, or for a friend or a family member, parent maybe, pray not just for the patient, but for the caregiver. Ask God to strengthen them, to comfort them, and to sustain them. Secondly, reach out and check in. A simple text saying, "I see you. How are you doing?" can mean the world to them. Thirdly, give them a break. If possible, offer some help in practical ways. Running an errand, providing a meal, or just sitting there with their loved ones so they can step outside for a moment, especially in late stages where palliative care moves into hospice care and it's a 24-hour situation. They need a break. Help them. Number 4, encourage them. A handwritten note, a kind word, or just listening to them share their heart can remind them that they're not alone. Number 5, remind them of God's presence. Caregivers need to be reminded that God sees their sacrifice. Share scripture or a word of encouragement, or remind them that their labor of love is not in vain. So today, let's make sure we don't just see the sickness, but that we see the caregiver too. Let's be people who lift them up, who stand in the gap for them and with them, who pray with them and for them. If you know someone caring for a loved one with a serious illness, reach out today. Let them know that they're seen and loved and supported. And if you are a caregiver yourself, you're watching this, I want you to know God sees you. He is with you and He sees what you're doing, and it matters. You're not alone. Let's be people who love well, not just the sick, but also those who care for them. And God bless you. And I'll see you next time. Before I go, please remember to subscribe as we try to get up to over 500. Press that like and send this to a caregiver or someone who's sick. Thank you. This month we want to give away 3 of these books. I've written several books, and this one's called Transformational Discipleship. It's available in English, Spanish, Portuguese, and a bunch of other languages. And we're trying to grow up subscription. So we're asking you to subscribe and then make a comment where you say subscribed and say something about yourself. And we'll choose a number somewhere in the 460s, 470s, 480s, maybe even 490s, so that we can get up to 500. And we'll then connect with you, communicate with you, and make sure you get a copy, either Kindle version or a soft cover. So please comment, subscribe, and this book is used around the world to help people grow in their spiritual walk with God and to help disciple even other people. So subscribe and comment.